Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Money Talks with Ayanna Smith, and I am your host, Ayanna Smith. I help people make and save money. I am a financial professional, a life insurance broker, your everyday person who's helping the everyday person. And we have a special guest with us this evening who is just, I just say she's doing so much. She's doing big things. I'm excited. I love when people are making an impact and then tell their stories and help people, coach people through to the processes and to some of the processes that they've actually gone through. It's like basically saying a cook that doesn't eat his own food is a poor cook, right? Why would you tell somebody to taste what you have not tasted? So here we are with our famous guest. Yeah, I would already call her famous because she is Miss Katrina Garrett, and she's in our virtual green room, and we're going to bring her to the stage in just a few seconds. But before we do that, I wanted to make sure that we talk about really quickly that we are doing a Women in Finance anthology, and we are seeking co-authors. The spots have been filling up fast. People have been sharing their interest and coming on board with being in the book, and I'm excited about that. So if you know of a woman in finance who is a CPA, a money coach, a life insurance broker, an investor in real estate, a bookkeeper, a tax professional, anybody in some of those things, and even a credit repair specialist, this will probably be the book for them, because we want to be able to share our intellectual property and leave a legacy and live on with our words. After we're long gone, people can still read our words in print. So here we are. Without belaboring the time frame, we're going to bring Miss Katrina Garrett to the stage. And listen, she has a power packed bio. You all can see everything in the comments, but I tell you, she's a money coach. She's in business with her husband. She just does so much. So you know what? I think it would sound better coming from her. So without further ado, we're going to bring her to the stage right here. Miss Garrett, how you doing this evening?
Am doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. You're looking well. Ready to share with the people what you have going on and how you got into the money space. Because I love to bring on guests that are making an impact. They've been impacted themselves, and they can share with others. So basically, this is what I like to do: share with others and bring on our talent. Because I say we're better together. So just starting out a little bit, just tell a little bit about yourself and what you do and all that, and just we'll just flow and have a conversation. How about that?
All right. I have a degree in accounting, but with a concentration in information systems. So I implement financial systems. I started off with implementing them for healthcare, and now I work with a consulting company, and they do still specialize in healthcare, but it's whatever clients we get. I'll be assigned to a client. I have to travel to their site every now and then, but most of the time I work from home. So I'm pretty much an 80 to 85% remote employee. But I implement software systems or financial systems or upgrade the systems for the client. But in addition to that, my passion is helping people with their finances, and basically empowering people to live a whole life. And oftentimes, that whole life is really majorly impacted by their finances. So always, that's always a focus. But I just want to help people to live better, because I feel like when we can live a whole life, we can just be happy. It's a lot going on in the world, so we got to live a life that we can be happy and want to wake up every day. Amen. Somebody come through.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, when you talk about that whole life, that gives a lead into your you said I am new. Is that,
Mhm.
that where that came from, built on with I Am New LLC? And I love it when I'm gonna read, it says it's a ministry devoted to the liberation of all people, including those who are burdened, broken, and bound financially, emotionally, and spiritually. So of course, all of us are interconnected. So just share how that came about and how you flow in that space.
So I Am New was my baby. It was called, actually the Lord gave me it. It was called Ian. That was what he gave me, Ian. I was like, Ian. I was like, what does that mean? And then he was like, I am new. And it's like when you take this financial journey, or when you're going on this journey just to be empowered or to be a better person, you have to let go of your old ways. You can't be new doing the same things over and over again, because we say we do the same things over and over again and it leads to nothing. We call that insanity. So you can't be new and insane, right? So I'm all about, empowering people that they can take a new path, that they don't have to walk in the old ways, but they can walk in a new way. But we always say you can't put new wine in old wineskin. So I can't put a new way of thinking if you're hold so tightly to the old way of doing things. So we have to become new in order to embrace the new things in our life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. So, mm, so how did you even get to the space? Because we're talking about, you empowering people and giving them, you got in as your, I am new. So how did you even get to that? What was going on with you that led you up to?
I'm so glad you asked. So you said something so key in the beginning. You said a poor chef or a poor cook is someone who doesn't taste their own cooking. And I was like, wow, that is so powerful. And what happened was I was broke and disgusted. Okay. Look, my running joke is that I should have owned stock in Bank of America for how many overdraft fees I paid them over the years. Okay. I had the bill collectors calling me, and I literally couldn't find Peter to rob to pay Paul. Like it was rough. It was rough. And
Right.
I got to a place where I prayed and I was like, God, just help me to get out of this. And that's when he began to teach me how to budget my money. He taught me the importance of stewardship. So I'm really big on budgeting. I'm very big on stewardship. And eventually, I went from the red to I don't even remember when I'm going to get paid anymore, because I no longer live from check to check. And God took me from being literally took me from being a borrower to being a lender.
That's awesome.
Literally took me from the tail to being the head. So it's kind of like all the things that we say when it's like, you'll be a lender and not a borrower. You'll be the head and not the tail. It's like literally, I remember when I was the tail and now I'm the head. I remember when I was the borrower and now I'm the lender. So that's where I'm at in this season. And I wanted to teach people how to do the same thing, because I feel like we all, if you serve the same God I serve, he's not partial. He's not going to do it for me and say, oh, I can't do it for you. So what he gave me was the strategy to walk in financial freedom. And whoever wants to learn it, I sit down with them and try to help them get there too.
That is awesome. So when you sit down and help people, what are the general steps that you walk people through? You talked. I heard you say budgeting, of course, because that is a key element. But what do you do, because it's going to be indigenous to your style and
Right.
who gravitates to you as a client?
Well, my first thing is, and I have a motto. I say, broke thoughts equate to broke talk equates to a broke walk. So some people, they want to become financially free, but they still have broke thinking. So
Mm,
my first thing is I go in and say, why are you in debt? Or why are you struggling in your finances? Because you have to understand your why in order to understand the next step. Because I have to first, it's like going on a diet. People say, oh, I want to lose weight, but there's certain things that you have to do in order to lose weight. So it's like
yeah.
understanding your thought process so that we can shift your thinking, because I believe that so a man thinketh, so shall they be. And it's not just thinking that you're poor. It's about how you look at money. Do you feel like I need money to buy me a car, but I don't have a home? See, now that's broke thinking. Because if your focus is having a nice car over having a place to stay, that's a broke thought that we need to change so that you can prioritize your spending. Because I have to change your thinking so that now I can challenge you to do a budget, because I believe that I always teach needs over wants.
Hmm.
Needs are what you can't live without, but wants you can. And I feel like what we've done, oftentimes we've confused the two. Because we'll say stuff like, oh, I need that bag in my life, or oh, I need those shoes, or oh, that's a bad this. And we say we need it, but no, do we really need it or do we want it? Because once I shift that mindset from needs versus wants, then we can start writing out your budget for the plan for your life to get out of the debt that you're in.
Hmm. Absolutely. It is. It's that what the inner work, so the outer work can come. Meaning you can get the things that you really need and transition to the stuff that you want. Because sometimes we might want some of our needs, we want higher than what we really need. So, you say a bag, you don't have to get this certain bag, just get a bag. Just get a bag. But okay, so how do people work with you? Is there anything else that you take people through the process? What are some of your, maybe ask you this, what are some of your success stories? Because you work with people. Let me ask you this too. Do you work with people on personal, or do you do group coaching, or how is your process set up?
Well, I have done like seminars on finances every now and then, and I
Mm-hmm.
do that every once in a while. But I've done the one-on-ones, right?
Okay.
And for those that apply my plan, like I've had people come to me who did well financially, but they didn't know how to manage their money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at their spend, and I would say, I said, why are you renting? You make enough money to buy, right? But they, because of how they had lived their lives, felt like they didn't have enough. They couldn't afford to live on their own. So I sat with them, wrote out a plan, showed them how to spend their money, taught them some things. And these people went out and actually purchased a home. Like they got their home. I've worked with people that were struggling financially and they literally could not make ends meet. And I've sat down with them and done a budget and showed them how to organize their spend, because sometimes people, they paid all of their bills out of one paycheck and then they were broke, robbing Peter to pay Paul, and then the next paycheck, since they paid all their bills, now there's extra money left over, so they spend all that money. And I showed
Mm-hmm.
them how to like budget out their spend so that they could pay out equal payments equally across pay periods, as opposed to paying all in one pay period and none in another. So I taught them how to manage their money so that they could get out of debt. I'm a firm believer, because a lot of people I've worked with in the past, they couldn't put large amounts of money on their debts. I taught them that method where you pay your smaller bills first, and then you
Mm-hmm.
take the money and add to it and pay your larger bills. So just gave them strategies to come out of debt, gave them strategies on even how to look at their tax returns, showing people how to take their tax returns and make it stretch if you know that you're struggling financially.
Mm-hmm.
And also talks about their legacy, because sometimes we don't think about legacy. We just think about ourselves, how can I live my life, and talking about even how to set your children up to have a better future. One thing I've told people in lessons is, if you have a child that lives at home, charge them rent.
Mm-hmm.
But don't
Mm-hmm.
use the money. Put it out somewhere. Save it aside so that no matter after when they get ready to move out, instead of moving into an apartment, they can take that money and make a down payment on a home. So you set up your legacy for something greater than where they started or where you started. So things like that.
Things like that. Like that's nothing. Things like that. Because that was a great nugget. Like you said, just put that money to the side. Really don't need it, but you're producing responsibility and with that child, and then take the money as a nest egg or seed and say, here, now you don't have to start in the hole. Boy, boy, boy.
I'm telling you.
That is something right there that oftentimes we don't get it.
Right.
And we start in the sub basement.
Because parents, oftentimes we say, no, I don't want to charge my child anything. They're
Mm-hmm.
living at home. And I get it. We want to be parents, but this is charging them, like you said, accountability, responsibility, but getting them to invest in themselves so
Mm-hmm.
that they can have some type of real estate that has value when they move out.
Right. Right. And start with a leg up, and starting early and moving into, the real estate and the home ownership and building something, and really staying on and talking about it early and staying on a focused plan that, hey, look, even show you how to pay this off or build equity, so you can then take that, if you want to take your equity out, not just to pay bills, but to get another property if you can
Mhm.
afford it, and things, and keep rolling it up and over. So okay, that sounds very, very good. I tell you, we gonna have to get you back and get you on some other, other. Got my wheels turning. Yes, got my wheels turning. But so with that, let's talk about like I said, you and your husband work together. Do y'all work in a financial space together, or that's something kind of different?
What we do, I mean, he's been into enough of my trainings that,
He
I
knows
feel
what to
like I
do.
definitely get up there and do some stuff too. So one thing is we've done marriage counseling together. I mean,
That's
all
that's what I was going to ask you. Do you do things with couples and really sit down and help them
yes, we've done
refocus?
we've done marriage counseling. We talked about our finances because we have the model of the two being one and putting our money together and the challenges that we faced in the beginning
Hmm.
versus what we've overcome. We're trying to help couples because oftentimes, shoot, it's one thing to try to budget your money being single, but it's a whole nother ball game when you budget your money and you're married. You'd be like, Jesus of Nazareth, come get me quick. So we kind of walk them through navigating that and understanding that it's no longer your money, it's our money, unless we set some money aside. So little things like that, building trust in the relationship and knowing that, because, a lot of couples, they keep their money separate. They say this
Hmm.
person pays this bill and I pay this bill. And I
Yeah.
get why we do that, but that limits your buying power.
Mm.
People becoming one have more power when they put their finances together. But because it's never going to be equal. Somebody's always going to be short a little bit because you don't make the same exact money and you don't split your bills exactly 50-50. So you
Right.
have more buying power when you come together, and that's the challenge in a lot of marriages.
I could see that. I can see that people have their own arrangements and how they want it to look. And yes, but if we could conquer, like I said, conquer the mindset of that and that trust issue, that's the thing. And people are coming with different backgrounds and all that. That sometimes, whew, yeah. I'm just having my own inner thought. Like, yeah, we, it's something. It's really something to think about. But yeah, that's a lot to think about when you're saying blending because you're not just looking at one. And but it will offer the plus. It will offer more buying power if you allocate correctly. You can really knock down some things, but that would take people. They're really talking about and shelling out and exposing the stuff. And sometimes we're embarrassed to
Mhm.
expose where we've come from, but we have to if we're going to go up and grow together. I mean, if we're going to stay together, we really got to play together with that money. You got to
That's right. Look, we
put
live in the same house, but our finances are separated. Look, they separated, but we together. Are you together? We together with our finances. They have a separation agreement called two bank accounts.
did you say a separation agreement to bank account? But some people may say, hey, two bank accounts, and we'll maybe do a third one to put our money in together or something
Right.
like that.
And that's what we do. We have like our central bank account that's for
Mm-hmm.
our household and our buying power. And then we have agreed upon amount that we get as we call play money or spending money.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that goes into our individual accounts. And we can spend that however we choose. He always jokes and says, I can burn it on the streets if I want, and you can't say nothing to me. And he is absolutely right. And sometimes
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, did you really need that? And he'd be like, it was my money. I was like, you're right, sir. It was yours. So, but the money that's in that joint account, we have to be in agreement.
Correct.
So
Correct.
nobody's getting up and going and spending money on something that they want, not need, because needs
Right.
what we have to discuss. We need groceries, amen. We need gas
Yes.
in our cars, we need
Yes.
car insurance, these are the things we need. So we don't have a discussion about that, but we have an agreement that that's what, if we want to do something that's what we want out of our joint account, we
Mm-hmm.
have to be in agreement.
Absolutely. Now
So
that
if I be wanting, he'd be like, no. And you know what? I can't get it unless I got enough money in my personal account. But it works both ways. He might have something he wants. I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. And he has to be in agreement too.
right. Okay. Right. So you have to be in agreement with each other, of course, when you are, in a relationship, but you really have to be in agreement with yourself when you are by yourself because the relationship that you're in is with your all you have is what you have coming in.
And
So
can I be honest? When
Yes.
I first got married, that was a struggle. Ooh, because I did well. Ooh, I did well. And it didn't make sense. The amount of money I had is extra spending money a month. It
Hmm.
didn't make sense for him to have that same exact amount. That was just like too much spending money and not enough. So I had to reduce my spending money. And I felt some kind of way. I was a little frustrated on that thing. I was like, Lord, is this your will for my life? I was questioning that. But I got over it. But
Hmm.
that's something you have to go through.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. So this is and also you have to go through it with yourself. And yeah, bottom line. And then you were saying some things that you need, and I can't help to say this, and I think you will totally agree. Also, in your list of needs and the talking about and the ideologies about with life insurance, and types and all that stuff that we share on this on the well, I share on a daily basis, but share on the show. It's like the awareness of that, because some people don't have a relationship with that, or don't think it makes sense, or don't understand how it could help the home, and it will most definitely help the home if somebody passes away or gets sick.
Listen, I am a believer in having the proper insurance, life insurance. Look, and now now since I have some recent issues with my house, I want to have insurance on my appliances. Like I want all kinds of insurance. Listen,
Absolutely.
it's the insurance is the thing that saves you
Mm-hmm.
in the long run. And it's like you're investing in yourself so that it's a little bit now that saves you a
Mm-hmm.
lot later, or it's a
Yes.
little bit now that pays you a lot later.
Like,
And so it's like it's worth the cost. But
yes.
sometimes we are in that instant gratification. And
Yep.
because we can't see the instant gratification, we say, oh, it's not a big of a deal. But you'll know you need it when you need it. It's one of them things when you listen, healthcare insurance. It comes on my paycheck, but listen, I'm glad when I got to go to the emergency room and I don't have no emergency room bill.
Correct. Right. Or a minimal copay if you have to pay something, as opposed to thousands of dollars with that non-regulated, situation, because hospitals are not regulated. They charge what they want for whatever service. So yeah, and yeah, we want to make sure that that we have stuff in place. Yeah, but that insurance piece is very important. Yeah, to make sure that we leave that love letter, and especially if you're by yourself, leave something for people to put stuff in place. And with your husband and wife, put stuff in place, because you don't want to leave them crying. I always say you don't want to leave them alone twice. Leave them alone by themselves, and leave them alone that they have to pay back. That is travesty. They
We're in an era where we do what's it when they have to do the donation. What is it called?
go fund me.
The GoFundMe, right? That's
Yeah,
now you're hoping for someone else to give to your cause. Whereas
yeah,
insurance says you're investing in yourself so that you can be secure without having to depend on someone else.
right. You give it to your own cause. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, any final remarks and or ways that people can work with you? You're taking clients now, or how do you normally do that?
So, if for anyone that's interested, I always go through a questionnaire.
Mhm.
I have, I give you homework because I feel like if this is something, because people like fix my finances, and I be like, because I'm gonna need for you to fix your finances. I'm gonna give you the tools. So if you work with me, I always give you homework, and the homework is really to reflect on self, to challenge you to see how you're spending your money, so that I can understand, you can understand. And I do this thing where I ask them some questions and I give them to give me like hypothetical of what they think it is. And then
Mhm.
I tell them, okay, now go back and look at your bank statements for the last 3 months and tell me do your expenses line up with what you just finished telling me that it did. And most people be like, oh, I mean, I thought I only spent this much eating out, but I spent a whole lot of money on DoorDash. DoorDash taking some people money, boy. DoorDash is getting you good. But they get to learn, and then we set up a budget. So if you're interested in working with me, kgarrett35@gmail.com. I got like other email accounts, but I can't think of any of them right now. So send me to kgarrett because I check that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
kgarrett35@gmail.com. Another thing that I'm doing is I'm focusing on the working woman. I'm doing this whole initiative to celebrate and to speak encouragement into the working woman, because I know we're in a season where, we're shouting out and we're applauding our entrepreneurs. We're encouraging them when they're having their challenges. But everybody's not an entrepreneur. There's some people that still work a job. And so I want to celebrate those women. And so I'm doing an initiative. So please follow me on Facebook at Katrina Walker-Garrett. I got some good stuff coming up. I can't share it right now, but
Okay.
just know that I'm really taking time to invest in the working woman, because she gives so much. She's going to work every day. She's taking care of her family. She's still showing up on the job, even if it may be challenging, because she knows she needs to take care of her family. And I just want to, shout you out, love on you, and just say that you're appreciated for what you do. Because I feel like the entrepreneur has a place and they are assigned to do certain things and equip people, but the working woman has a place as well. And I want to make sure that you know that you're valued and appreciated.
Absolutely, absolutely. And some are working women and entrepreneurs just doing everything. What we say,
Yep.
making up our words, dualpreneuring. That's like you do. So yeah, we do that. We handle it on all sides, get it all flowing in whatever direction. But that's great to hear. That's coming up. I will be on the lookout for
Yes,
that.
it's gonna be fantastic.
Oh my! I'm like, I'm going to slide in there and say hello. Don't forget. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. But any final words as we wrap up, so we got how we can contact you. You're on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, are you on all those social media
I
outlets?
am Katrina Walker-Garrett.
Okay.
You couldn't let go of that daggone last name. Well, I'm only there on Facebook. In real life, I'm just Katrina Garrett. But I
Okay.
think people wouldn't know who I was if I was just Katrina Garrett on Facebook. So I wanted
Mhm.
my history to find me. So I'm Katrina Walker-Garrett. Okay. So when you look for me, look for Katrina Walker-Garrett.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You'll
Walker
find me.
there. All right.
And
Well, we can.
thank you so much for having me, Ayanna. I just
You are so
appreciate it. I appreciate everything that you're doing. And don't worry, my mind is doing too. I got some ideas. I'm gonna pull you in on my working women thing. I'm gonna need you because I
welcome.
got some stuff going on.
Oh my. So you got some
I,
cooks in the kitchen, huh?
I'm cooking in the kitchen.
I love it. I am excited. I really am. I'm excited about it. And I know you're going to continue to do big things because you are. And that's what we're all about, helping each other, lifting each other up. And we always say on the show, money is always talking, even if we aren't talking about it. And it talks to us in so many ways because we have to go back with mindset. You said, look at budgets and why do we spend that? And look at 3 months of your bank statements and all that. And it will tell the story when you look at those bank statements and say, woo, I was really heavy in XYZ. And I remember sometimes, we don't do checkbooks as much, but I still do have a checkbook. But people say, you look back at your checkbook and you'll see where things were flowing. But now we're online mostly. So we look at that. And if we print out the papers and start highlighting, then that's, yeah, we'll see what's in checkbook and treasure. Oh goodness. It'll tell a story, right? It'll tell on us.
It will tell on you.
Well, if we want to be told on, make sure we connect with Miss Katrina Walker-Garrett, right? Is that right?
Walker Garrett on Facebook. Yes,
On
Facebook.
Facebook and everywhere else, Katrina Garrett, right?
Yes.
On Instagram and all that good stuff. Well, it has been a pleasure to have you on our show on Money Talks with Ayanna Smith. And we look forward to staying connected and even bringing you back at a later time. Have some products and all that good stuff people can get from you because I know you have a bunch of products in you already. That look, you'll tell us all about those on the next time that we meet. But please make sure that everybody connects with Katrina to get get your finances in order. She's an awesome money coach, and say it within I Am New.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
with I Am New. So connect with her today and hold steady for a second, and we'll be right back. So here we are. So you have had this wonderful segment of Money Talks with Ayanna Smith, and we had Miss Katrina Garrett. Of course, I said I am your host, and I am a financial professional, life insurance broker. And please connect with me, and make sure you connect with me and subscribe to my YouTube channel at the Ayanna Smith. And also, now when you go to the YouTube channel, please actually subscribe, hit the like button and all that. Please do, because I want to connect with you. And also, you can connect with me on IG and on Facebook Business at these Ask Ayanna _ Financial Pro, and Ask for Ayanna on Facebook. And so, without further ado, we're going to say good night, goodbye. Press the replay, share this out with others, and make sure that you connect with me. And of course, you can connect with me by going to askayanna.com to schedule a complimentary consultation so that we can help you get your proper protection in order. So this has been Ayanna Smith, Money Talks with Ayanna Smith, and have a great one.